George did say to me when he first got diagnosed, am I dying?
What did you say to him?
I said, George, we're all dying and we're going to get you the best care that there is in the world.
Oh, don't.
It's true, though. I would never lie to him.
No, but and that is true anyway. Like, my kids say that to me now because obviously they've
seen too much for the age
they were
that
like,
they're at.
"Oh, are you going to die? Am I dying?" I said, "We're all dying." And how horrible is that? But it is the truth.
George was happy with that answer. That's all he needed. He didn't Google it. We were obviously fundraising and had a social media for him, but he didn't feel the need. He just asked me, and maybe in his heart of hearts he did know, but he was happy with that answer and he fought so hard.
And that's all you could want, and that's what he could have given, really, isn't it?
He never complained. He just used to say, we'd say, George, we're really sorry, it's grown back again and you need to have another surgery. And he would say, will it hurt? And we would say, it probably will. Yeah, because we didn't want to lie to him because then he wouldn't trust us. And yeah,
did it hurt after his surgeries?
I think it was pretty bad. The first time before we moved to Great Ormond Street, his scar was like right across the top of his head, and they stapled it. I mean, why would you staple children's heads when in Great Ormond Street you can have it glued? Insane. The difference between the hospitals, and that's something else that I'm really passionate, and that's why I work with the Angel Mums and the Tessa Jowell Foundation, which I'm sure
we will talk about that.
I know that because I'm really passionate about the journey because, as you know, it's so traumatic. I've blocked a lot of stuff out, and one of my friends was also at Great Ormond Street, which they were absolutely amazing with George's care. And there was a picture of the tunnel where you go to intensive care, and just seeing that picture, honestly, it was like being stabbed yesterday. It took my breath away. The trauma that is stored that I probably haven't dealt with, just because
I think we've got so much trauma that we've not dealt with, because I think me and you are very similar, that we had the other kids to fight for and to be here for. So you sort of had to go, not box it, because I don't think you're ever going to box your grief, are you? But you have to somehow continue with life.
Yeah.
And there's people that we've met on this journey that I know that didn't even get out of bed, couldn't get out of bed for months and months and months. It's like, we had to.
Yeah, we had no choice. But I'm actually really grateful for that. I mean, obviously we're really grateful for our children, but I don't think I could have got up without them. I just don't. Izzy said to me just before Christmas this year, she's older than her big brother now. That really hit her hard. Because George passed away when he was 13, when it was her 14th birthday, I never would have mentioned it. It was obviously in my mind. She said, I'm older than my big brother now. The big brother that she looked up to, they were like little twinnies. At Christmas, she said to me, because children can compartmentalise their grief so much more easily than adults can. And she still wants to enjoy Christmas. And, obviously leading up to Christmas without one of your children, there are no words, honestly. So we are just getting through the day, getting through the moment. And she said, Mum, can you try and pretend to enjoy Christmas this year just for me? I was like, I felt heartbroken for her. So I did. And on Christmas night, when I went to bed, I was just waiting for the day to be over inside. But she said, thank you, Mum, I've had such a lovely day.
Oh, God.
She's just, Jamie and Izzy are just amazing. I don't know what I'd do.
But how are
them.
they dealing with the loss?
Very differently. Jamie's 21 in May. His life was on hold while George was ill. George adored him, so he just pretty much put his life on hold. At that time, he was 17. He just spent the 11 months gaming with George and being there for him and coming on like loads of trips with us. And now he's got a really nice girlfriend and he's doing his apprenticeship. So At
that time, what did Izzy and Jamie think?
So we told Jamie the truth because we felt like he was old enough to know.
And to deal.
And I live with such bad guilt about this, but we couldn't tell Izzy the truth because we felt it would be too much responsibility on her shoulders with how close her and George were for her to know and George not to know. And she said to me, Mum, right until the last breath, I thought we'd have a miracle. I feel so bad that I couldn't tell her the truth, but I couldn't put that on her.
But what you got to say to Izzy anyways, we all prayed for a miracle for both of them, didn't we?
We did. She never believed. Right at the very end, when he was end of life, we did have to tell her. But she said, Mum, when George did pass, it was just the four of us with George. We're always a five. And she said, I didn't think that he would go. And as soon as George took his last breath, we were all just absolutely broken and in bits.
Yeah.
And Izzy was saying, come on, guys, it's going to be all right. We're going to be strong. I mean, this poor 11-year-old little girl was consoling her parents and her big brother about the loss of her other big brother. And she did like this little speech.
It's kind of nice, though, for someone to have that. Like, I was saying to my auntie the other day that it was Dean, Kelsey's husband, that said Tom had just died in the hospice, and we was driving to the pub because I went and got drunk. I got paralytic after. I'm not
surprised.
Not gonna lie. But Dean went. He didn't know what to say, and he went, "Don't worry, you'll be all right, Kelsey," or something like that. But it was almost like he had me signed up for Tinder in like 2 days' time. Like, don't worry.
I think that's a man thing. He's like, come on,
I was
it's gonna be fine.
But then it made me laugh so much.
Yeah.
Like on the day that Tom has passed, I'm sat in the car laughing because it was Dean's like, I don't know what to say. You'll be all right. Don't worry about it, girl.
Bless him. Well, Izzy did our little speech and she was like, we've got each other and George will want us to be happy and we're going to carry on for him. And yeah, just...
But because so Izzy was 12.
So she was 11 when he passed and then she was 12 at her next birthday.
It's so much for an 11-year-old to actually deal with and cope with.
I feel like it's sometimes just breaks my heart even more for her because all of her future has been robbed. So Jamie and Izzy have lost George, but they've lost Matt and I as well. And the people that we're not the same parents now. We're not the same people. We're not the same friends. We're not the same children.
I might be a little bit happy though because Lou, you might be a bit like less strict now. They're probably like, well,
we definitely are.
They're like, thanks, George.
Yeah, we are definitely less stricter. I think George will be watching down saying, I can't believe you're letting her do that. You were so strict on me.
That's what I say to my two, though. I'm terrible. That I'm like quite lenient with them. I try to be strict, but then I'm nice because I always think, they've lost their...
Aren't
yeah,
we?
we overcompensate. I'm like, they've lost their dad. And I always, are they doing that because of that reason? Like I try to like look at them psychologically.
Me too.
And then I say to him, do you know how much trouble you'd be if your dad was here? Like, he wouldn't have a bar of this.
Were you the soft parent? Were you the...
Yeah, Tom was ridiculous about stupid things. Even, like, obviously, Aurelia was 3 when he passed. But what he expected from a 3-year-old, I'd be like, Tom, come on, mate. Like, and Kelsey's Albie, he'd be like, right, you need to start putting him to bed at this time. And Kelsey was like, do you think? He went, well, he can't tell the time, can he? He doesn't know what time. Put him to bed at 6 o'clock. Kelsey was like, okay, Tom. Like, he was so strict and so opinionated.
I know. I remember Matt saying to me once about Jamie, I've looked at the government guidelines and I think he's watching too much telly. And I was like, it's taken me ages to get that boy to watch telly. Don't ruin it. So it was like, just so I could get a little something done in the house.
Yeah. So actually, Izzy and Jamie maybe are a bit like, well, we are getting away with a little bit more.
Well, Jamie's an adult now. That's the other thing that's been really hard for Izzy, actually, because Jamie turned 18 just after. So she's gone from being in a really busy house with 5 of us, always someone there, to like today, she's at home on her own and she'd never be on her own.
You should have brought her up here.
Well, I would, but we've got a new puppy. And she made me get it, so I needed her to stay at home.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 15 in June. She's just such a little darling, honestly.
And she is, honestly, such a lovely girl, isn't she?
She's got a heart of gold. But what I was going to say, I feel it's really hard because at that age, not many of her friends can even imagine what she's going through as well. So whereas we've got the support of our really good friends and like-minded people that have also been on that journey, she's a little bit lost. You know, she sat in a science lesson and they talked about diseases and cancer, and she said, because we moved her to a different school because she's the year below George at school, and she wanted kind of a little fresh start where she just wasn't always George's sister in the nicest way. And she said to her table, my brother died of brain cancer, and a boy laughed in her face.
Because he didn't know how to cope with it.
No. And so she came out and said, Mum, it's been a really bad day today. Someone laughed in my face when I told them that George died of brain cancer. And I said, well, look, you know, he's not mature enough to understand, but that's what she's dealing with as well.
Well, that's another one of my little missions. I want to do grief in education because I don't think we talk about death enough.
We don't.
In this country. Like you said to George, we're all going to die. We are all going to die. I feel like my kids have lived an experience that you know, they're not. There's not going to be a lot of kids in their class that have lost parents.
No.
So again, I did the moving of schools, not for any like particular reason, but they've moved to a new school. But then when they moved to a new school, it's like another conversation with teachers to be like, we celebrate Tom. We talk about Tom. Don't be scared to talk about Tom in class because we celebrate him. And then Aurelia's had to go in and tell everyone that her dad's died.
That's really hard.
But actually, you know what's really cute is my friend came up to me after outside the school and they were like, Autumn knows all the words to Glad You Came.
Oh.
I was like, does she? And then I was like, how? Aurelia's like, I play it every day. I'm like, she goes into school and plays Glad You Came so all the other kids can listen to her dad's music.
So Izzy heard that song the other day and I was singing it, and every time I'm singing a song she's like, how do you know this song? Because she obviously hears it on TikTok and thinks it's a new song.
You're like, that's old, honey.
I was like, you know Tom Parker? And she's like, no. She couldn't believe. I said, you know Kelsey's husband? That's his song. She's like, no way. She was like, yeah, she was so shocked that it was Tom's.
Right, so let's talk about all the work that you have been doing for the Tessa Jow, the Angel Mums. Tell me everything you've been doing, Lou.
So I think when you're in the unfortunate position that we're in, you go like one of two ways. You're either gonna, because we campaigned a lot while George was here as much as we could without kind of letting him know how bad it was. For me, now I know how bad it is and I'm living in fear that something's going to happen to one of my other children or someone else I love. I can't just ignore what's going on around us. So we've raised quite a bit of money for brain tumour research. But equally, I connected with a lot of other mums whose children had the same or similar to George. And along the way, I've watched every single one of those children pass away. It's just horrendous. And there's other children that have been diagnosed since George has passed away, and I've watched them pass away. And so, and I'm also watching all of these amazing mums setting up charities, and I'm thinking we're all being ignored. And I just, you know, how are we all being ignored and how are we all being fobbed off and told this is so rare? So I said to some of the other mums, look, why don't we collaborate and we'll become a group ourselves. We'll do something really crazy because that way we can try and raise a lot of awareness. And that's how the Angel Mums has come about. So we're a group of mums that have all lost a child to a brain tumour. We get so much support from each other. And in October 2023, we did a skydive together. So there was 8 of us at that point. So honestly, it was amazing.
They are crazy ladies.
We are scared of heights, but we know what our children faced. And
well, like you're saying, even just taking bloods.
Yeah.
Even swallowing tablets.
Yeah.
Like they had to go through so much, these children.
They did. So we want to be brave, we want to be scared, and you know what's the worst thing that can happen is we're not scared of death now because we know that one day we'll be back with our children. So
until next time, I'm Kelsey Parker and this is Mum's the Word, and we'll be back with another episode, same time, same place next week.